The scaled-back premiere of Snow White and the Non-Existent Dwarfs was held the other day. Normally it is a massive fanfare. Disney will hold its grandest, most extravagant premieres for its stars, but due to its controversy surrounding its main star, Rachel Zegler, not Gal Gadot as some would have it be, they have pulled it back. No press, house crew, few photographers, and for some random reason social media influencers that they really like. Disney sent Rachel to Spain and to Japan to do controlled premieres in non-native English speaking countries, and Gal stayed in America to do her work there. Needless to say that Disney has next to no confidence in how well this movie is going to go down. Yesterday, my X timeline was flooded with social media influencers' shill reviews. I didn't search for the Snow White premiere on my X. My main output on my X is promoting my videos, and some of those are Snow White. The majority of them are not at the moment. And, well, my main interactive content is normally Doctor Who and some other woke issues, and my engagement on Snow White is minimal. So I wondered who Disney were actually paying enough to push it that far into the algorithm that it is flooding my timeline with nothing else but that for quite a while. I did note that hardly any of these, well, if any at all, were actually saying anything negative about the film. They were pretty much spoiler free. These people, these social media influencers, are paid to do this, and they are under an embargo. Hello and welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters, not by myself. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my channel, switch on the notification bell so that you know I am releasing another video. Thank you to everyone who has joined me already. I can't run this channel without you. We're going to take a quick look at an article from The Hollywood Reporter, and then we'll have a look at some of the tweets that have been flooding my timeline. Now, I often say that the best type of review that you can often get is generally an audience review, where no one has been paid to say anything nice about it, and they've gone to see it of their own accord, and they've paid to see it for themselves. So naturally, of course, with everything else that's been going on, Disney aren't expecting the greatest outcome. So they have paid people, the social media influencers, to come in and say as many nice things as they possibly can. And naturally, of course, the Hollywood Reporter is also reporting. Let's take a look at this article. Snow White first reactions praise remake, a big surprise. Rachel Zegler stuns. The Snow White Backlash Brigade isn't going to like this. On Saturday, Disney held the Los Angeles premiere of its live-action reimagining of Snow White, and the first reactions from the screening are that the film starring Rachel Zegler as the titular fairy tale character and Gal Gadot as the evil queen is actually mostly successful, according to one viewer, while several are praising Zegler, with one critic calling her stunning despite the raging online controversy over the title. Premiere reactions tend to come from fan bloggers and influencers and typically skew more positive than formal critic reviews, of which Snow White has suspiciously had few so far. Nevertheless, initial responses from the LA premiere have been enthusiastic, if also sounding markedly surprised. Even the Hollywood Reporter can't deny at this stage that it is a little bit suspicious that they've got no formal critic reviews for this movie. I can tell you why they have no formal critic reviews for this movie. It's because critic reviews tend to come from different spectrums. They come from the positive, they come from the negative, and they come from the mid. Not only that, these particular critics will also talk about the woke backlash and all the politics that are surrounding this movie, and Disney don't want anything to do with that right now. Part of the reason why they're keeping Rachel Zegler on the tight rein, because she won't stop talking. She's like a bull in a china shop. Some of the tweets that they also post in this article I am actually going to cover in a moment, so we will look at those in a bit. However, I will cover the ones that I have not found. Let's take a look at them. Ash Cosson of Screen Rant wrote, despite the Bob being all over the place, Snow White is quite charming. The message lands well. The critics are adorable, and Rachel Zegler and her enchanting voice are stunning. It almost got a full tear out of me, and I never cried in my entire life. And we love physical media media wrote of being won over while admitting to walking into the screening with some big biases against the two leads. Not a fan of Zegler or Godot, but man, this ended up being so good, the news outlet wrote on X. I think this one is gonna surprise a lot of people and do numbers. It's in my top 5 of Disney live action remakes. Go see it. Skylar Schuler of Disinsider wrote that this version of Snow White will reach the top echelon of Disney's latest series of box office mega hits. Listen, I was worried, but let me tell you, Snow White is pure Disney magic, she wrote to her followers. This will end up being a lot of people's favorite live action remake. If you enjoyed Aladdin or Cinderella, you'll be happy. So those are some of the positive reviews that they managed to find on X. However, apparently there was one that was not so positive according to them. Yet at least one early viewer wasn't impressed. While Gal Gadot is great as the evil queen, Snow White isn't a great remake of the animated classic, wrote Carl Kaka at Future of the Force. Rachel Zegler is a poor Snow White. The changes to the story and lyrics are awful. Some special effects are not that special, and the film didn't land for me. A huge shame. But that was one review, and those types of reviews, in that sense, the negative ones, are few and far in between. Let's take a look at the ones that I found on X and see what they have to say. I may regret saying this, but Snow White is solid. I really enjoyed the musical numbers, particularly the opening one and the Queen's Evil Bop. Zegler was great in the lead role, and Godot was fun. It's really the CGI dwarves that let the film down. The choice is baffling. Yes, well, thank you to the one dwarf that rules them all. We now only have one dwarf that voices them all. Now, I've noticed that Paul is trying to sell that Waiting on the Wish song, which I've heard is fine, but it replaced Someday My Prince Will Come, which is a wonderful feminine song. And the question is, does Waiting on a Wish actually make sense within the story? Is it feminine enough? Is it, well, does it help the story at all? I was pleasantly surprised by Disney's live action Snow White. The classic magic can easily be found in the reimagining. The new songs are vibrant, catchy, and breathe new life into the timeless tale. It's most definitely one of the better Disney live action remakes. The classic magic can easily be found in the reimagining. I thought they were going to be doing a complete 180 on this story. Sounds like to me they have virtually gone and pulled out everything that was doing a 180 originally and have replaced it with more of the older stories context. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they did that, because Rachel Zegler pretty much told us that we're not getting the story of Snow White as we know the story of Snow White. Well, Disney has had the last laugh with Snow White. After years of backlash, they've produced one of their strongest ever remakes. Rachel Zegler is enchanting lead. All the story tweaks work well for a modern audience, and after 88 years, it's a reimagining that makes sense. I won't know entirely about Rachel's performance, so to speak, until I see the film for myself. If I decide to see the film for myself, I didn't have any issues with her in West Side Story, but I haven't seen anything with her in since. The reason why they were getting the backlash, though, was because she wouldn't stop talking. I've heard that they've been trying to get her to stop, but she keeps running like a bull in a china shop. And I'm surprised that her agents haven't gone, if you don't stop talking, we will drop you. Because her agents are her lifeline to the Hollywood industry. If they drop her, she's going to struggle. But the reason why they won't is because they won't make any money from her if they do. Rachel Zegler is a shining supernova in Snow White, beautifully embodying the graceful, gentle nature of the OG princess. It's a visual feast with the show-stopping new musical numbers and, of course, dozens of enchanting animated animals. The screenplay wisely gives its heroine newfound depth through her fervent desire to become the leader her father believed she could be, and a love story that's sweet as apple pie. Well, first of all, the animals being animated, wow. Couldn't we have trained some animals? It's pretty bonkers that they didn't animate it. And they had a live action rabbit at the premiere. Yes, they got obsessed over a rabbit. And secondly, I didn't think they were actually doing a love story this time, because the prince literally stalks her. Sounds like they did backtrack and make some changes. Despite becoming an internet punching bag, Disney's remake of Snow White is actually mostly successful. Rachel Zegler is an absolute star. Most of the new songs are catchy and beautifully performed, and the visual palette is sumptuous and vibrant. Gal Gadot has beautiful gowns. It only became an internet punching bag for a few reasons, and that was because Rachel Zegler didn't stop talking when she was told to. They originally ditched the dwarves, or at least what was my belief, the dwarves, and then they replanted the dwarves and made them animated. They also deviated from the original description of the character, which I know annoyed a lot of people. Those reviews that I just read out to you were not the only reviews that I saw. There were loads that were just on my timeline, and it was all positive and pretty much saying the same thing. Let me read this one tweet to you though. Can I predict the Snow White critic reactions tonight? Hear me out. Snow White is actually a delight. It's so bright and colourful. Those dwarves are still uncanny, but hey, I had a good time. What a surprise. Snow White exceeds expectations. Yeah. Who paid you? Well, that's an easy answer, Damien. Disney paid them to do it. I said that it would be a big mistake for Disney to release this on Disney Plus. I said that ages ago. It would be very easy for them to put it onto Disney Plus because of all the backlash that they've had. But they're now focusing on short form content only for Disney Plus, which is the correct move. We could have told them that to begin with. I also believe that withdrawing the film completely from any form of premiere or release or theatrical release would have been a mistake as well. And the reason why I believe that is because I believe that Disney need to learn a lesson from this rather than just sweeping it under the rug. They need to learn that they need to go back to what they do best, which was animating fairy tales and just telling nice stories, not taking something from 1937 and making it into something that it is not casting it in a way that in many people's eyes is not the correct type of casting, not getting rid of the love story, not undoing anything that saved the company to begin with. These reviews, they're just shells. Now, some of them may have enjoyed it, and that's fine. But these people are paid to say positive things about this movie, and the negative is just few and far in between. The best type of review, in my opinion, is the audience review. The best opinion when it comes from the people who choose to pay and go and see it, rather than those who were paid to see it. Let me know what you think. Chat about it. Don't shout about it. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, switch on the notification bells so you know I'm releasing another video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.